I think that a regime that doesn't tax profits is probably called flexible and favorable. At the same time, we have to keep in mind that Moldova is not a tax haven, and it only doesn't tax the reinvested profits, but even the profits on dividends that are ultimately taken out by the investors from the companies. They are fairly moderate, we think. An average rate of 15% is probably a fairly good rate if we're talking Europe-wide.
How advanced is the program of privatization in Moldova?
The first flow of investment that came into Moldova was through these privatizations in the energy sector, in the construction materials sector, in the banking sector, in a number of industries. Then Moldova has experienced a stay on privatization for about 7 or 8 years, where recently, and in 2008 is a great example, the year that just finished, Moldova reopened its door for private businesses to buy out those companies that are still state-owned and that should now belong to businesses. The business will do better with them as the government does. I think, if I'm not mistaken, last year Moldova opened for sale about 300 companies and has managed to sell about 80. That's not bad, and especially that if we keep in mind that there's still many more to be sold, and the most important assets in the retail business, in the financial services business, in the telecom business, they're still in the glass industry, a number of businesses. They're still out there for sale. Today, yeah, we probably are not in the best time of buying, but then soon, we're talking about a short-term future. That's something that I think many foreign investors will find interesting about Moldova, and we know they're asking about it.
One of the legacies of the Soviet era is the high level of education, and this has produced a generation which is strong in IT.
That is true, and Moldovan IT specialists are working all over the world. But at the same time, what foreign businesses found that why bring the Moldovan IT experts to the United States, to Europe, or to any other place? Why not keep them in Moldova? And a number of our clients are doing this. We see this developing more and more. And then Moldova, at the same time, as the state thinks, well, why don't I help these foreign businesses park their educated IT staff in Moldova? So why don't I offer them a full tax exemption on payroll? We think this is pretty attractive, and I know that IT people like that.
Now, from the legacy of the past, we look to the future and a program of public-private partnerships.
That's an important topic for Moldova. Public-private partnerships are something that are new and not new at the same time. Moldova and Moldovan authorities, both state, national level authorities and local level authorities, they have always been in some sort of partnerships with the private sector, only that they didn't really have a legal framework to cover that, and there are always legal issues related to how to properly structure a relationship between the government and the private party. But what we think, and what we welcome very much, the parliamentary initiative last year of adopting finally the PPP law, the public-private partnership law. By having enacted this law, the government has opened the door for new public-private partnerships to be built in the coming years.
And again, looking to future potential, the possibility of membership of the EU. What's the business case for that?
Moldova has been dancing with the EU for quite some time, and that is naturally part of the foreign policy of a state whose geographic position is such as it is of Moldova. A first step would be for the Moldovan state to enter into some sort of an association agreement with the European Union. That's a tough process to go through. I mean, it's getting the approval of each single European Union country, especially in the financial economic environment where we are now. That's really going to be a challenge. At the same time, what I think is important is that the direction is known, and the Moldovans are ready to go this way.